Welcome to the Fright Flick FMK podcast. As always, I am your host, Jay. And on this show, I'm always joined by my co host, the gentleman Jack. He's right here with me every week, never fails, never lets me down. And we're back for another week. And hey, if this is your first time to the show, if you stumbled across us somehow, just welcome. And yeah, just join in. We're about to sit around. We around here on this show, we like to have a good time. We drink, we talk shit, we laugh, we make jokes. We do drink. And and if you're listening to this show, I almost recommend that you do drink because it may be better when you're drinking. Um, I don't really know. I don't know if I've ever done more than one episode where I wasn't drinking. So but yeah. Um yeah, around here we like to just we like to watch horror movies and we like to talk about them. And send the title, people, FMK. When it's all said and done, we rate it on whether or not we'd rather fuck it, marry it, or kill it. And this week I was trying to figure out what movie I wanted to talk about. And I decided what I wanted to do was it was I was going through some of my collection. I've recently started getting into collecting like physical media of like horror movies and stuff like that, thanks to my brother John, who has turned me on to this habit. And it's a habit. And I tell him every time I get a new one, I send him a picture of whatever, and I tell him it's his fault. He got me on to collecting them. And my little collection is just teeny tiny compared to his massive collection. But and so I was going through some of my collection. Hold on one second, family. There's a gentleman break right there. But and so I was looking through, and I remembered, and what really brought it up was this week, the director that we're talking about. Um, and I hate when I have to say somebody's name because I'm scared I don't say it wrong, especially when it's one that I can't just get out there. Eric Stantz. It's Stanze. I think I'm saying it right. With my southernness, it may not be coming out right. Eric Stantz. Um, this week was his birthday, and I follow him on Facebook and stuff like that, and Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever. And and so when I seen the post on Facebook about his birthday, it made me think. I have some of his movies, and so it made me go to my collection, and I do have his most recent movie. It just came out, I think, this year. Maybe it was a month or so ago. It just came out recently, and so I decided that's what I want to talk about. And so for this week's episode, we're talking about anxiety, and I have the Blu-ray right here. Eric Stantz. God, I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm just going to say Eric from now on, so y'all know when I say Eric, I'm talking about the director, the writer, the producer, you know, the man. So yeah, this week we're talking about anxiety, brand new, and it just came out. I remember seeing a post about it. It is now available on Amazon, so you can get it on Amazon. I didn't look up the prices or anything like that, but if you're listening on this show, family, you know how we do around here. We love independent horror movies, independent filmmakers, love them around here. And so let's go show some love to the independent horror. You know, it's on Amazon. You can go get it. And like I said, I didn't look it up. Don't know what it costs, but go show support. You're going to spend money on, you'll go to a theater or whatever and spend money on watching some shit, you know. And realistically, a lot of us pay for Netflix, and we had to sit through that shit show Friday night, a little wannabe mock boxing match on Netflix. We paid 20 something dollars a month for Netflix, and they don't really give us a whole lot. But Amazon Prime, anxiety, you can go get it, watch it, and like I said, show some love and support to the independent. And So yeah, I have no clue. I had no clue about this movie really. I got it because it stars one of my favorite actresses, Jackie Kelly, is in this. And another actor that I'm a huge fan of is Jason Christ is in this. And if you listen to this show over the past, few months, if you've hung around that long, we appreciate it. Shit. But several episodes ago, I actually interviewed on the show Jackie Kelly, and that was a huge fanboy moment for me. I'm a huge fan of her. And she is in the process of working on her first, you know, film. And she was on the show and talked about it. And leading up to that show, I had recently just watched In Memory of. And In Memory of is another movie that Eric did. It's his movie. And this one's actually free on Tubi because this is where I watched it. I came across it on Tubi and it's called In Memory of. Yes, I own this one too. In Memory of. And and while we were on the show, when she was on the show, we were talking about it, and she brought up, we started talking about it, and she brought and talking about Eric and his movies, and she had mentioned that his newest one, Anxiety, is it was about to be released, and so instantly I went to their website, which is Wicked Pixel Cinema. That's where I got it from, Wicked Pixel Cinema, and put my order in and got it in, and I've had it, for ever since I don't know when it came in, but I've had it and I haven't watched it yet. And so, I have a ton of the ones I collect that I haven't even watched yet. I heard of it and I know the name or something about it and I ordered it and I haven't watched it yet. So Anxiety was one of those that I haven't watched yet. And so this week's the week. I seen the happy birthday post to Eric this week on Facebook. And it made me think, like, shit, I got this brand new movie that I haven't talked about yet. So, um, that's what we're going to talk about. And like I said, the first movie I've ever watched of his was In Memory of. And I was such a fan of that one. And I'm not going to talk about it much because it's another one I want to talk about on this show at some point. But this week we are all about anxiety this week. And like I said, I had the Blu-ray and I even have, luckily on their website, Wicked Pixel, because I collect horror movie posters. Look at there. Let me show. If you're on the YouTube, you can see this right now. If you're not on YouTube, you're missing out. But there we go, right there. I even got the poster signed by the cast. Big fan. I love my collecting movie posters and stuff like that. But yeah. So like I said, I had no clue what it was about. I don't like watching trailers. Don't like to read a whole lot of shit until I watch it. So right out the gate, I'm gonna give you some little IMDb on it. And this is strictly right off IMDb. A recovering alcoholic's journey lurches into a nightmare tailspin during a global crisis. Sober for only a few months, her sanity erodes as the demon in her brain drags her deeper and deeper into a vortex of madness. Now, before I watched it, I just watched it earlier today, and I like to watch it right before I record, so it's kind of fresh. And so I kind of picked up the old Blu-ray and I read the back of it, and when it talked about like a global crisis, I still wasn't sure. I've seen a ton of movies where, you get the zombie apocalypse type movies, the end of the world type bullshit, and that's kind of like in my mind, that's where it went. But this one gets real familiar really quick because it takes us back just a few years ago. Some real deal like crisis shit. It takes us back to the old pandemic, the old COVID-19, the coronavirus. 2020 time frame. I believe that's when that was. Um, and so that's the crisis. It's not some made up, zombie type taking over world type shit. And it was like real deal. Because when it starts off, we're getting all these like news news reports coming in, and I'm wondering if Eric, if you ever stumble across this, if you would like to come on the show and answer some questions, you're more than welcome. You got a seat at the table, buddy. But I'm wondering, like, I'm thinking it had to. I wonder if it was filmed during that pandemic time, and what made me think maybe it was the way it was shot, and maybe it was shot like this on purpose, where it's a lot of it takes place like in well, Jackie Kelly plays Renee. Renee is who Jackie Kelly plays. So it takes place a lot like in like Renee's house or whatever during the pandemic time. And so he did very well, very good at making you that feel like you was right there in that in the quarantining and the fucking, lockdown shit, because a lot of it is spent there at Renee's place. And there's actually some like video calls with Jason Christ, who plays fucking Alan. I gotta look, just yeah, Alan. Had to pull that up just to be sure. But he plays Alan. And so it plays just through and this took place kind of leading up to it. Like when it was first initially kicking off. And we were all there, people. We were there. And it would just it took me back to that, you know, and the fact that it wasn't some like zombie type shit, some weird shit. This was like real deal. I knew what the fuck it was talking about when it kicks off. We were there. We all lived it. We all seen that news shit. We all fucking watched it. We all watched it grow and grow and grow, and just becoming this huge thing that took over. You know, and And so it shows, like I said, the first opening scenes of it are a lot of these news clippings. And some of the news clippings I even recognized. Like I remember some of them, and it was crazy because it seems now here we are at the end of 2024, winding down. And maybe it's just me, family, but holy shit, it's not, it seems so long ago. It seems like forever to me. When you think back, that's only like what, 4 years or so. But holy crap, man, it just seems like it seems so long. And so yeah, our girl Renee, she's like a video editor, and she has one of those jobs to where you can do it from home. It's just one of those that you probably work better being at your own place, doing your video edits and stuff. Comfort of your own home, easy. You ain't bothered by shit. Get your work done. And so that's her job. And then all of a sudden, the corona is building up. And now, you're seeing the news reports, and it's like, they're declaring this whole, like, it gets into like how the death numbers are rising. And, she gets a text message, like maybe like, I think, I don't know if it was like her boss or coworker, or whatever, where basically, like the shit's getting kind of real. Like, we ain't got no video editing jobs right now. Like, it's time for everybody to fucking hunker down and stay home. And that's when the lockdown started coming. And so here she is, who has a job that on a normal basis, she's okay being in her house, doing what she's doing. She chooses to. Now she's in her house, and it's because she's not choosing to now. Now it's because all this shit's popping off, and it's the COVID-19, and they're ordering all these lockdowns and social distancing. We all remember it. And it was crazy when I started watching. I'm like, holy shit, I remember that. I remember, you know, the 6 feet apart. I remember you can't have gatherings more than this many people. I remember, wear a mask everywhere you go. I remember that shit. And it's crazy because it was real and we all lived through it, and well, I say live people, I get it, some people didn't. But hey, you know, I walked myself into that one. There's some people out there that, when I say that kind of shit, they're gonna be like flipping off and getting all freaked out, like, we're not everybody lived through it. You know what the fuck I mean, people. And like I said, on this show, family, we laugh, we joke. Hey, don't take us serious. If you are taking me serious, you're in the wrong spot, or either you're not drinking enough. So, but and as the story goes, you come to find out that Renee is a recovering alcoholic, recovering, and it's because she even makes a comment like when it starts off and she's talking, and she's talking about how if this pandemic would have happened, you know, right. Luckily, I think it'd been a few months since her um basically hitting rock bottom and recovery. Been a few months. And so she's, questioning like, what if this lockdown would have happened, weeks after, or, very close by, like would it be different? And what anxiety is going to do is it's going to it takes you in what I really don't know how to word it because I'm not the smartest guy in the room. And just kind of off my mind, the way I see it, people go through shit every day. And we all went through the pandemic. We all went through the the lockdown, we all did it. And but everybody's story is different. Everybody has something that we don't know about, you know. And Renee, for instance, in this movie, recovering alcoholic, she just found out she can't go to work. You ain't got no videos to be editing, no income coming in. Um, because she makes a comment for the first time, like she regretted like walking away from this grocery store that she worked at prior to going and started doing her film editing. So, here comes the doubts. And now no income's coming in. I know there's people out there, you all remember it, couldn't go to work, didn't know how the hell you was going to survive, how the hell you going to provide for your family. And you see her start going, having to go through that struggle. She's putting in for like the food stamps. She's putting in for like any type of assistance. And I remember hearing, people talk about that. And for me, I was very lucky because I'm in the military. I've been in the military for almost 20 years now. And for us, it was different. You know, we were mission essential. So no matter what, we were going to work. But, it was different for us, for me. And so, what this movie made me do, what anxiety made me do, it made me kind of step back and look at, what some struggles that, other people were going through that we don't know about. There's always somebody out there struggling. And so with Renee, here she is, recovering alcoholic, basically pretty much just lost the job, no income coming in, basically on lockdown, just you in your house with just your fucking thoughts, you know, and people couldn't really go anywhere then, everything was fucking closed, and it was just, you try to go to the grocery store and you imagine like, and it shows her like when she has to go to the store, and she's going there with the mask on and everything, and she's, abiding by the rules. You go into the grocery store and everything was just empty. I remember hearing about it, like, people buying fucking toilet paper like it was going out of style, and it shows her like going down the aisle, and she's got her few groceries and then she hits like the toilet paper aisle and there's like nothing there. And we all remembered that. And so here we are, and she's having to deal with this now. And she gets, she has to go back home. And as she's doing it, she's talking. And Jackie Kelly does so fucking good. You know, it's so fucking good. And I don't have no fancy, big, smart words to describe, actors and actresses. I'm just, country as hell. She's so fucking good. But and then we get to, it shows us where, a lot of it during that time was a lot of, FaceTiming, or video calls and stuff like that. Imagine people if, if this pandemic thing would have happened, and let's just say we didn't have all the little the little nice things we take for fucking granted these days. Just imagine, let's just say if we didn't have, I remember when a cell phone was just the phone and you could literally just call somebody. And I remember when you would, you know, pay for minutes. Remember telling mama, I'll call you after 7. I remember having limits for text messaging. Wasn't no video calls and all that shit. Imagine what it would be like if you had to go through that, not being able to, like, see somebody, And so for Renee, she had, a couple, and she even says, yeah, like a close friend of hers, Alan, who played by Jason Christ. And let me just say, Jason, if you stumble across this one also and listen, this was my favorite of the movies I've seen him in. He was so fucking just likable. And it was, and he is, oh, I wanted to hang out with the dude, Alan, the whole time. Like, so fun. And he's basically, he sends her these little video. He does like YouTube channel. And he sends her these little videos and stuff like that he puts together and sends them to her, and it shows her watching it. Um, a little something that I don't know if it's 100% true. I got it off of IMDb. I like IMDb because sometimes I like the trivia stuff. But one of the things it talked about in the trivia on IMDb was those little video recordings that Jason did for this movie. He basically went off and just made those. Like, Eric basically gave him some points to hit, and he kind of went off and just basically recorded them. And then um when you see Jackie Kelly, Renee, watching those videos in the movie, that was her first time seeing them. That's what IMDb said. Trivia, if I'm right or wrong, I don't know. Eric, Jason, anybody want to come on here, answer my questions? But yeah, so and so he does these video messages with her, and he is, you know, so fucking nice. He's talking about, I think he is married. I don't know if he's married or if it was his partner. I'm not really sure, but he was just a very happy guy. He had his partner. God, I wish I damn it, I had his name. Now I feel bad. Shit. I'm trying to look at it right now because I feel bad for forgetting his fucking name. Damn it. I can't find it at the moment. But um and he's showing little video clips of him, they're doing some work in their yard, and it's just that personal level of, like, that's what, some people are holding on to, that, being able to at least see somebody and be able to have those where things seem normal, things seem real. And, Alan's out there just living his best life. They doing some work around the house. drinking a little bit, smoking a little bit, you know, you want to hang out with Alan. Um, and so, and he's basically telling her, if you need anything, super nice guy to her. You can tell they're really close. And there's a few of those videos that come along, but there's parts of this where you start seeing her where Renee's struggling a little bit. Um, where it's like she lives across from a church and she's used to seeing cars and everybody out there, and all of a sudden, nobody's there. And there's parts where she's sitting on her little balcony, just like smoking a cigarette or whatever, and it's just so quiet, and it's just that and because I didn't have to live it that way. So I don't know what that would have been like. Um, I do know how I am personally, how I am. I am a homebody type person. I love being in my house. Um, I I love it. All my toys are here. That's what I tell people all the time. All my toys are here, in the house. I don't need to go anywhere. I make a grocery run every now and then, but maybe it's different. I'm doing it because I want to. And there's certain things we do that we enjoy doing it when we want to do it. It's different when somebody's telling you to do something and you don't want to do it. Like, I remember during that time, they just be like, oh no, you're missing essential. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I want to go home, get locked down and quarantine in my house for a while. That was me. So I don't know, so when I can't, I don't know what that was like, you know, and so you start seeing, and it kind of progresses. It's kind of slow. The movie gets going kind of slow a little bit, but it's leading you into how this thing progresses, how the lockdown went, because then she starts getting her calls from you know Alan, and Alan's upset because his partner has gotten sick, and there's a part where when they're doing their FaceTime a couple times, and you can see it starting to wear. You can see it starting to, for everybody, even for Alan, for her. There's a part where she's, talking to her sister Abby, I believe, who's played by Marcella Miller, and and that's basically her. That's her people that she can talk to. She's got her sister who's not close by, and she's got Alan, and that's pretty much it, you know. And so there's a part where Alan he shows videos like going to work, and this has kind of hit the point where now they require everybody to wear a mask, and he's going to work, and he he comes to find out that somebody at work tested positive for the COVID, and we all remember that. We remember it. I remember it because I remember going to work, and you'd hear about it. Oh, so and so tested positive for COVID. And then it was like the fucking paper trail had to start where you had to track down who were they around, who was in close contact with them, who was this, and it was this huge thing. So it goes into like, and I remember how people would be like, oh, he tested positive. Now he's at home. If the person was married, he goes home, and now you're worried, like, well, now you're around his fucking wife and kids or whoever. And so it does in this movie, it goes that route because we catches the video where Alan's telling Renee, like, hey, he's not feeling well. And I say he because I cannot think of his partner's name, damn it, and it's bothering me. But um he's not feeling well. And so then you can find out there's a part where and you can tell like Alan's starting to get stressed. Now he's feeling a little guilty. Here's why he's feeling guilty. He was around somebody at work that tested positive. Now, back home, his partner's starting to feel not feeling good. So now he's starting to think like, oh shit, did I bring this home? Did I give him COVID? Because, and while he's doing this, you can tell he's upset. Renee's trying to be supportive and everything too. Renee fighting her own demons, you know. And then we get to where, we all remember hearing the stories, or we knew somebody that, had to take them to the hospital. And once you take them to the hospital, you're not just sitting there next to them at the bed holding their hand. It's basically like drop them off and you can't be in here because, like, you know, Alan's partner, he takes him to the hospital. He's on a ventilator. He don't know if he's going to live. And in this moment, like he's doing this call with her, and you can see it where this he broke, and he's like crying, and he is so feeling so guilty because of he thinks it's his fault. He brought it home, and now his partner's in the hospital. He don't know if he's going to live. You know, and while all this is going on, Renee is kind of like talking, like telling the story as it goes, like it's her, like if she's reading it to you how it's all going. And then she comes out and says, that's the last time I talked to Alan. And I'm like, then it made me wonder, that was the last time that she talked to Alan. What happened to Alan, damn it? What happened to his partner? Did the partner not survive? If the partner didn't survive, was Alan so guilt stricken over it? Did he do something? I don't know. It was mind fucking me there for a little while because while all this is going on, um, oh, that's my phone vibrating. Because as it goes on, you start seeing Renee have these, and it's not really flashbacks. It's almost like it seems like she's dreaming. But I think what this, and I'm not smart, people. Mr. Eric, like smart. Um, a lot of times when you watch horror movies, you sometimes you just can watch them and you ain't really got to think. You just along for the ride. You're just, you're just watching the fucking movie. One thing I will say about Mr. Eric's stance is I'm trying to go back and watch some of his older movies because I have anxiety, and I have one of his called Scrapbook. I've watched In Memory of an Anxiety. And in those two movies, I will tell you, he gonna for me anyway, I have to work for it. Like I have to he mind fucks me. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And it's like, I'm having to think. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you start going on this ride with Renee where you're trying to figure out, like, there's times in this movie where I'm going, what the fuck is going on? But then I'm starting to, you start kind of, and I'm slow, people. It doesn't click quick with me. And so there was a couple times I'm watching it, I literally would like pause it, and I would just kind of sit there a second. Either I would back it up a little bit, or I would be like, I'd pause it, think a minute, and I'm like, well, let me let it play a little more. You know, maybe I'll catch up to it. And so yeah, I was it what it does is it almost takes you inside Renee's head. And it's like you're trying to, because you don't know what somebody's dealing with on the inside. You don't know what's going on in somebody else's head. Renee's got her own demons. There's a part in it where you will see her like in bed, and you see this like creepy witchy looking thing sitting at the table next to her bed, and she's got her nails just clicking them on the desk, just clicking them. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And she's asleep. But then you see this witch, whatever, demon, get up, and it takes his fingernail and it's digging in the back of her head, just like scratching at the back of her head, scratching, 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 till it looks like it's starting to bleed. And there's a part in it where it makes and it talks about that where it's like, um, how she always has this that demon just always there scratching the back of her head. And then it kind of, I've never gone through, you know, people who recovering alcoholics who's I've never been through that. Um, I don't even pretend to act like I would know or understand it, but kudos to whoever has done it, who's gone through it. Hey, but it she has to go, she starts having trouble because she's there by herself. She's fighting this inner thing that you don't see. She put on the show for everybody. For the people, she'd go to the store, put on the show. She would get on the phone with her sister, put on the show, and play the, doing good. When she's talking to Alan, she's trying to be supportive for Alan, but she's fighting her own battle. And and here's the way I took it. Once it gets going, it gets you through the beginning and you get to know him, you get to know what all was going on. Once it starts picking up to where, she decides that, she just got to get away, because she decides to go on a little camping trip, pack her a tent up and just kind of get away from the city, do her own thing. And then it's like, and the whole time this is going on, it's building up to it. Like there's parts where you see her kind of look around the room and you see this. I want to say the bottle of whiskey was called the Kentucky Tavern or something like that, but that bottle sitting there, and you can tell like she is dealing with it. Like they're all by herself, especially when her good friend, Alan is breaking down. Like, and she's seen that, the way he was, and when you see him upset on the phone, dude, like, man, you feel bad. And so now it's just kind of her. And like I said, that demon's there, and it was just scratching at her head. And what it felt like to me was that if it let us take a look inside her head of what she was dealing with, on what her struggle looked like. Um, a lot of people can try to you can try to explain it to people sometimes, and a lot of people just don't know. I see it on a, I will get a little personal right here. Like I said, I've been in the military for right at 20 years, about to retire. You know, I I came up over the years of being one of those that I was not very, what's the word, empathetic, empathy wise, where you kind of feel and understand what people's going through. I was never one of those. I just didn't get it on the military side. And I would see people struggle and I would see people have a hard time with things, military related type stuff, when it come to, be stressed out, deployments, PTSD, all that stuff. I remember I was one of those that would just look at them and I would be like, "Ah, you're so weak minded. You're just weak minded." And you know, that's what I said. This little personal moment right now. I was one of those. I looked down to a point at people like that. I didn't get it. I was like, "What do you mean you're going to see somebody? What are you talking about?" Didn't understand that shit. You're weak. You're weak minded, and that's just the way I came up through the years in the military. And it took me it took me being on the other side of it. It took me, that whole saying, why don't you walk a mile in my shoes? And it took me having to put those shoes on and do my own walking to where it made me see all of that differently now. It makes me, see people and understand that we don't all know what somebody's dealing with. We don't know in that moment on that day, you know, what are they holding on by? Is it just by a thread, or they are just right on the edge? And you know, and And you see Renee in this movie to where she is like she's getting closer to that edge, closer, and she is struggling. And Jackie Kelly does so fucking good at taking us all on that ride, you know. And there comes a part in this movie when she goes camping, and this is it was kind of funny to me because you know I was sitting there thinking, I was like, holy shit, what is better than a Jackie Kelly movie? And then when she went camping, it hit me. I was like, holy shit, what's better than a Jackie Kelly movie? A Jackie Kelly movie with two Jackies in it because Jackie now has another Jackie that shows up, and and it's like that then it was like that inner person that you can't that she is having to fight on a daily basis. Where that one that always wants to take you back down memory lane, the one that always wants to drag you down, that person. And we get to see that struggle. We get to see that part to where, you know, she's trying to do the right thing. But then we got, look, I called her evil Renee. She's over there sitting there going, take it, like, be sitting over like a drink and just telling her, you know, like trying to get her. And it took me once again, I'm playing catch up with this movie because I was having to think a lot. And but it was a good thing. Not hating on it at all. I was there for it. And so I'm like, holy shit, like this is her. We are literally behind the curtain of like, and let's just say Renee's head of what's going through it, what she's dealing with. And it's this person that is her, it's herself. But we all deal with self-doubt every day. I feel like that's something everybody deals with. There is something about each other, like me myself. I can there's something about me that bugs me and I may not like, something that I struggle with, you know, that is a constant thing. In the same way with her, like she's got that person, that inner person that's just like, you know what, it's just one drink. It's just one drink. Speaking of one drink, everybody, let me grab my beverage. Gentleman Jack break, thank you. But and so and I will say, as I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it because I'm a big Jackie Kelly fan. I like the little, you know, we're going back through this whole COVID shit. And then I'm a big fan of Alan. I'm seeing it all come together. And it's like, holy shit, man, I'm kind of upset because I don't know what happened to Alan. I never get an answer what the fuck happened to Alan and his partner. But then I'm kind of like, it starts really getting to the, I call it the darker side, where it's like it takes you, it's one of them, I can't put it in words. I can't. I'm not that smart. That's why you need to watch it. And so much goes on where it's like, you know, it it it's going to give me some blood and gore stuff, people. You know, I'm a big fan of it here. And we get to and it takes you inside her head, and I ain't going to spoil it. But man, that last few minutes of this thing where it takes you everything she's got going on. It fucking Eric just put the throttle down and said, we're about to fucking send it. And they sent it. And, you know, it's just, man, it was so fucking, the ending of it was, it ramped up. And I'm trying to be like, okay, this is all in her head. This is, and I'm trying to figure out like what this thing stands for. Like, I know there's a smart word for it. Like when you see something and it's like, it stands for this. I don't really know big words. You know, we stick to four little words here, people. But and so I'm watching it, and once again, I'm pause it because I see something happening. Like there's a part where she's in this one spot, and there's this dude getting scrub brushed, like butt naked, and they got like these scrub brushes scrubbing him, and he's sitting there saying, like, "Why am I here? I don't need to be here. I'm better now." And I have to pause it there because I'm sitting there going, "Think, wait a minute." And then I got to thinking, I thought, well, maybe that's how, like, when she said she had gone to rehab, I think like 5 times, you know, tried it, but it never worked because she never hit rock bottom. And when she finally did, that's when she's been sober. But when I'm watching this part, this dude getting scrubbed down with a brush, and I'm hearing what he's saying, I literally have it paused. I'm sitting there going, I wonder if that's how she was thinking, like when all those times that she would go to rehab. You're questioning yourself maybe after the first day or two. I don't know, never been there, but I'm wondering, like, you have those days where it's kind of like, you're asking, like, why am I here? I feel better today. I'm good. Like, I don't need to be here. Why am I here? And that's what this dude is acting. And so I took that as like that was how she was in her mind when it was time to go do these rehab things. So, and you see her get to in where she's having to basically have to get through it on her own. And I think in the movie they call it the eye, because even Eric is even in the movie, and he comes in and plays. I gotta look his name up because I thought his name was cool when I heard it. Paxton Kane, such a cool fucking name, man. It almost sounds like a damn, like a undercover agent or something. Paxton Kane, and and so it it's going to, man. Sometimes I watch movies like this. I don't know if I just feel dumber than what my country ass is already. But it's like I'm watching them, and I think I do pretty good to catch up and stay with it to the end of it. But yeah, it is just it really takes you inside on like addiction. It shows you like an ugly side of it, of what people deal with every day who are going through addiction. I don't even try to pretend or understand what that could even be like, because and what I took from it was when you look at people and you see people, how you just don't know what that person's dealing with. We don't all know. A lot of people sit back and we, you know, talk a big talk and do all this shit, and but at the end of the day, we don't know what demons people have. We don't know what struggles people have. And Renee is going through some shit in this movie. She's fighting it. It is, and it's like it toward the end, it almost takes you right up to the edge, like up to the edge of where, I remember watching it as I'm sitting there watching it. There's a part toward the end where there's a picnic table. There's a bottle, I think it was a Kentucky Tavern sitting there in a glass, and she's walking over to that table and like tears in her eyes, crying, and she takes the top off of that bottle, and you're sitting there with her, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh fuck, no, Renee, don't do it, Renee." I'm just kind of almost like talking to the TV, and at this point, I don't know if she's going to like stick with it. I don't know where it's going, and I ain't gonna tell you how it ends because damn it, you can watch it on Amazon or go to um Wicked Pixel Cinema and purchase you a Blu-ray. But but yeah, it it's a mind fuck of a movie. And that's a good thing when I say mind fuck, because damn it, I was, maybe there's smart people out there that can watch it and they're just sticking with it and everything's clicking and all the lights and bells are going off. Mine wasn't that way, people. It was, I would have to, push pause, when you're trying to start something sometime and it won't work and you just be like slapping it, like trying to get all the lights to work on it or whatever. I had to play catch up, but it was good. And what it did is it was something that when I look back at it now, going through the COVID and all that shit, I honestly didn't think about it like that. I didn't really, you know, I get so caught up in the aggravation of, you know, the aggravating shit. Like didn't want to wear a mask every fucking where I went. I didn't want to have to damn go somewhere and 6 feet apart and do all that shit. Just I get caught up in just what struggle I was having, what I didn't like about it. And But I couldn't imagine like, you know, in a situation in anxiety where Renee is sitting there trying to, deal with all of it and it had such a small circle to try to help her. And then, like her sister is far away. And then everything's going down with her good friend, the bear Alan. I say the bear because of part in the movie where he like, he talks to her about how he looks at Renee like a younger sister and stuff like that. And they're like really super close. But you will get some the I'm telling you, get to the last 20 minutes or so and it gets amped up and you're alone for the ride. You're alone for the ride in Renee's head of what she's dealing with, of what she's going through, of what she's trying to fight, the demons. And I it, I have no clue what that would be like in that situation. We all got our own shit, people. We all got our own demons, our own fucking shit we deal with every day. And what I will take from anxiety after watching it and is you don't know what people are going through on a daily basis. Um Play nice, don't be an asshole. I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. I talk a lot of shit, whatever, but I have learned the older I've gotten, and have learned things the hard way that you never know what somebody's dealing with. You never know what what's going to keep somebody holding on another day. Like for Renee in this movie, you know, being able to have those videos from Alan, being able to, FaceTime, like have a Zoom call with him and being able to see him and talk to him and have his little recordings, she did not have that. That part it went away, you know. So just fucking be nice, people. Damn, you know. Unless you're an asshole to me, then I'm gonna be an asshole to you. That's completely fair, people. If you're a dick, then you just means I can be a dick. So yeah. When I say be nice, don't take shit from nobody. Don't let nobody walk all over you. That's what I'm talking about. But you gotta watch anxiety and just go along for the ride. And damn, I had a good time with it. Jackie Kelly is fucking awesome as always, and I'm such a fan of her. And and I don't know what it is about, like when it comes to her and her movies. Um, I don't know how to say it and be come across as like I'm not being mean when I say this. She's just this kind of she just comes across as normal, down the earth type person in the movies that I've seen her in. She's just, you know, I feel like in every movie I've seen her in, the way she dresses, the way she looks, I feel like if you would bump into Jackie Kelly wherever she's at and pass from the street, she looks the exact same. That's just, you know, and that's just how she carries herself. And I'm such a fan of her. Like I said, I'm glad I had her on the show. But and one of the things that like when I see her and I see her act and the way she looks, and maybe it's just me, people, but if you haven't watched any of her movies, go check her out and go watch the movies. But I would love to see her play in a Rosemary's Baby movie because she has that look. She would fucking nail a Rosemary's Baby movie. But that's just me wishful thinking. But everybody in this movie was fucking great. Like I said, I what's that word when you say yeah, is it I'm biased towards it or I prefer it? I don't really know. But when I have to rate movies like this, um, Independence, ones that got people I'm such a big fan of with Eric and his movies, like I said, In Memory of Anxiety. Can't wait to watch Scrapbook. And there's another one on my list that I'm about to order. And I can't remember the name of it, something about rats, something. But go to Wicked Pixel Cinema. That's where I want to get it from. But Jason Chris in this movie, I'm a big fan of him, and they were all great. And I try not to spoil a lot of it because there's a lot that goes on in this. People, there's a lot that goes on that I didn't even try to because it's one of the things you got to be watching it. You got to see it. You got to be watching it, and you're trying to figure it out. And at the same time, you're going, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on?" And if you have to do like I do, pause it and then let my brain catch up a little bit because there was some. It was good. Had such a good time. I am, I fuck, marry, or kill these movies when I do the show. Now, marrying it being one of those every day of the week. That's your movie, your Mary type movies. Mary is on the level of like this, like for me, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That is a must. It's one of those I could literally watch any day of the week. Other types of horror movies like Circus of the Dead is one of my favorite. Watch it any day of the week. I love those. Those are the Mary type movies. Fucking it's our one night stand. It's that it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. A fuck is like, just having you need to scratch your itch. You're in the mood one night for a certain thing. You don't know what, but this one movie is going to get you over that hump. It's going to get you through the night. That's the friends with benefits. That's the fuck. Then we got the kill. Kill being the sea donkey is what I like to call it. That's the movie you watch it. The one night stand you never, ever, ever, ever want to bump into again. Never. But for me, when it comes to be honest with you, movies with Jackie Kelly, Jason Christ in it, I'm fucking the movie all day long. It's gonna be a fuck for me. Do I want to watch Anxiety every day? No, but because I enjoy a movie that makes me have to like think, a movie that makes me have to, feel like I'm playing catch up sometime, and a movie that makes me go, what the fuck is going on now? Like, what does this mean? You know, and that's what Anxiety did for me. That's why I have to watch it again because movies like this is where I will go back and watch it, and then I see something, and I will be like, "Holy shit, that makes sense now," because um, that's just how my brain works, people. But yeah, this was I was not disappointed. I had a good time watching it. I'm going to have a good time watching it again the next time. But yeah, once again, Eric damn it. I know I'm probably fucking it up, but great job. The cast, Jackie Kelly, Jason Christ, Marcella Miller, nailed it. Great, great group. And I think that's going to do it. Yeah. You just need to watch this movie. It's not one of them when I talk about it, I can't really do it justice of just how where it takes you and I don't know. I just know I had a fucking good time and I want to fucking watch it again, people. Now you all need to go watch it. Everybody grab your drink real quick. It's so funny that we're taking a drink right now. After I just got done talking about a movie about a struggling alcoholic, Renee, who struggled, but here we are, gentleman Jack break. Oh, that's good stuff. Thank you. Now, um, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, people. I don't know. Got a couple of them on the list, and we'll see. I don't like to have a plan very much. Um, I do want to say thank you to everybody who listens. I thank you to everybody who follows along, who makes recommendations or makes comments on stuff, or I appreciate it. We just a little shit show, like get on here and have a good time and talk some shit. And the fact that there's a few of you little fucked up fuckers out there that like it, and hey, we appreciate it. Go check us out on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, X, and you can go to the website, frightflickfmkpodcast.com, one stop shop. Everything's there. All of the video version, YouTube versions, the podcast versions. It's linked to the Instagram. There's also a Patreon there if you want to show a little support. It's like $5 a month just for support of the show. It helps purchase my gentleman Jack. We go through it kind of quick around this house. But I think that's it for all that housekeeping shit. Yeah. Like I said, thank you all again for who tune in every week and hang out with us. And I appreciate it. But yeah, go check out Anxiety. Um Go check out In Memory Of. It's on Tubi for free. In Memory Of, because it In Memory Of took me on the same kind of fucking ride that Anxiety did, as far as like my brain going, what the fuck is going on? Let me catch up real quick. But yeah, that one's free. But go support the independents, man. Go Amazon, check it out, and let me know what you think. If you have seen it, let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm a fan of it. Don't give a damn what you tell me. I fucking enjoyed this movie. Now, until next time, family. Uh, just stay tuned. You'll probably find out about what the fuck I'm doing next week when I decide to watch it, and I'll throw it up on social media about this, what I'm talking about. That's kind of how I work here. But works for me. But hope you all have a great weekend. Uh, Coming up on the holiday season. I'm not sure if I want to take any time off for the holidays as far as doing the show. I probably won't. I'm gonna try not to, but we'll see. But you all have a great weekend. Stay nice, play nice, because you never know what the fuck somebody else is dealing with or what somebody is going through on a daily basis. You know. But hey, we've reached that time of the show again, family, where I need you all to reach over. I need you all to grab your drinks. I need you to gather up your shit and go put your chairs away. And y'all get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Ah! Monsters!
All that left is our desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
That man's gone mad!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. I screamed, this ass.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.